You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
And hell hath come again. This is another episode of the Outlaw of College Football. Now, let's see what we got up here already. Baby DJ, the first one in the house. I appreciate that, Baby DJ. Y'all smash the like button and then subscribe and share. Yes, that helps me out a lot. It's the main thing that keeps the lights on around here. Fred Bagley's in the house as well. Howdy, Outlaw. He's got his badge. He's deputized. He's in the Outlaw Posse. And if you want to be in the Outlaw Posse like Fred, get your badge and get deputized. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. Just click on the little join button over by the subscribe button. Subscribing is free, by the way. A lot of people think this shit's not free, but it's free. All right. Ride Guy 1218 is already up in here as well. He's our resident Oregon guy. Feels nice to have Ryan Grubb away from my Seahawks. Really. Because he's done a really good job with Michael Penix and Kalen Deboer and his two stops at, I think, Fresno State and Washington. So we'll take him back. We'll take him back in a heartbeat. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and delve into some of this. Yes, Ryan Grubb was let go after just one season with the Seahawks, which was sort of surprising to me. I mean, I think you give the man more than 1 year. What did they do? Fire the head coach, right, guy? Did they fire the Seahawks head coach this year? Because to me, that'd be the only way I would see firing a coordinator after 1 year. Yeah, and maybe he wasn't just an NFL fit. Maybe you're right, guy. Maybe he wasn't just an NFL. He wasn't an NFL fit, as Guy 1218 alludes to down here. Let's go ahead and bring up a little article I got for y'all. This is from Athens magazine, one of my go-tos during the off season. Can y'all see that? There it is. It says on Monday, a number of NFL head coaches and coordinators were fired. The latest firing was Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, per Jonathan Jones of CBS. The former Washington Huskies offensive coordinator spent just 1 year with the Seahawks. In his long year, the Seahawks finished 14th in total offense. It's not too bad. I mean, come on, you only got 32 teams, and it's the elite of the elite. So he finished in the middle of the pack, at least, in his first year. 8th in passing, 28th in rushing. That's probably what hurt him. And 18th in scoring. The Seahawks finished 10-7. That's not too bad. That's almost in the playoffs, but just missed out on a playoff trip, finishing one game behind the Green Bay Packers. Grubb spent his entire career as a college assistant before coming to the Seahawks, and his most notable run included time at Fresno State and the Washington Huskies under Kalen Deboer. With Deboer, now the head coach of Alabama, fans at Alabama quickly made the call for the Crimson Tide head coach to bring Grubb back over to Tuscaloosa. Call him home, said one fan. Please, Bama. Ryan Grubb, you are the new OC at Alabama, said another. Alabama, please go sign Ryan Grubb as the OC. Ryan Grubb to Alabama, another stated. And here is Torres on Bama. By the way, Aaron Torres is a pretty good he's a pretty good watch as well. He's got his own podcast. You can go check Aaron Torres out. Aaron, and then spell the last name like you see right here. But he also has a Torres on Bama X account as well that y'all can go follow as well. Ryan Grubb has been let go at Seattle. It's time for Kalen Deboer to get the boys back together. And then there's a picture of Friends. I don't know why I use Friends. I wish you'd use somebody else besides Friends. But anyway, you get the gist of it. Imagine Keelan Russell and a Ryan Grubb, Kalen Deboer-led offense if Grubb came back. Grubb was also a play caller for Deboer during their time at Sioux Falls, as one fan pointed out. Kalen Deboer's play caller at Sioux Falls, Fresno State, and Washington should already be on a flight to Tuscaloosa, wrote another user. After Deboer was hired at Alabama last offseason as a replacement for Nick Saban, Grubb followed him over and was named the offensive coordinator. However, he took the offensive coordinator to the Seahawks job shortly after, which probably put Kalen Deboer behind the eight ball a little bit. That's another thing I want to point out about this whole thing. And I know it's not fair to Nick Sheridan. to just, bring Grubb back when Grubb had the chance and the opportunity to stay at Alabama, and he jumped at the opportunity to go to the NFL. But that's most coaches. Most coaches have that in the back of their mind. They may not admit it, but most coaches in the back of their mind, they want to be in the NFL at some point because that is the highest level of football. I think it was a mistake for him to go to Seattle, and it looks like that may actually be true now since he was fired. But is it fair to Nick Sheridan? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, Nick Sheridan was saddled with a quarterback in Jalen Milroe and his little entourage out there that I like to call the Cancer Five. That made things a little hard for the coaching staff, I think. Nobody wants to admit to that, and they want to say it's just hearsay. But I'm telling you here, right now, that there's something there. There's no way, man, that is it just Kalen Deboer, not Kalen Deboer, but is it just Nick Sheridan's fault, or is it more Jalen Milroe was uncoachable in the kind of offense that Nick Sheridan wanted to run? Now we bring back Ryan Grubb. Are we going to demote Nick Sheridan? I don't think we'll do that. What we might do is bring him back as a co-offensive coordinator. There's a lot of people who's not a fan of the whole co-offensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator thing, but sometimes you can do that and it's an actual fit. But if you got too much of that going on, as our Oklahoma guest coming in here in a second can attest to, too many co's on the team is like the old adage, right? Too many chiefs in the village kind of deal. Too many chiefs in the TP. But for this instance, I think it would actually be a good thing if they brought back Ryan Grubb as a co-offensive coordinator. Also, when he let Ryan Grubb go to the Seattle Seahawks, it really put Kalen Deboer behind the eight ball, as I said previously. He already had his staff in place, and then Ryan Grubb just takes off. And it's like the dominoes just started falling from there, and it ended up trickling down, I think, into the season. The first part of the season wasn't really as noticeable, but as you got into the season, you could tell things were just not right. And that the fact that he had to replace an offensive coordinator so late in the game may have contributed somewhat to the friction and the unrest that was here at Alabama in a 9-4 season. Now, a lot of people will be like looking, rolling their eyes and looking at you sort of sideways when you say 9-4 is bad. But at Alabama, let's face it, they're spoiled. 9-4, they're not going to be satisfied with that, not unless they go into a shell of about 20 or 30 years of losing and then start winning at 9-4, maybe then. But I think it actually hurt Kalen Deboer a lot. And I think if he brought Ryan Grubb back, I can't even speak tonight, man. I'm stuttering all over my damn lip. If he brought Ryan Grubb back, I think it would help Alabama immensely. I think it would be a good move. Is it unfair to Nick Sheridan? Probably, but life's unfair, right? So what do y'all think? Y'all think Ryan Grubb should come back to Alabama? Maybe as a co-offense coordinator, maybe as an analyst. Well, I don't know if he'd come back for an analyst job. If we can't offer him a little something like co-offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb's probably going to be ending up somewhere else at another college and probably hurt us down the road. So what do y'all think? Going on down here, we got Winston Jordan in the house. Winston Jordan says Grubb might not be all that in the SEC. You could be right, Winston, but I think Ryan Grubb would be more all that in the SEC than he would the NFL, obviously, because we got a Seattle Seahawks fan in here right now, and Rygod, he's really happy to see Ryan Grubb go. Although I'm looking at his things, and he's like, he didn't really do that bad for a first-year coordinator. And I don't know. I didn't see. The head coach is still there. They fired Carroll last year, said Rygod. Did they fire Carroll, or did he just step down? Did he retire, or did they fire him? Rygod says 9-4 isn't even acceptable at Oregon. Now, going back to the Alabama thing that I talked about earlier with Ryan Grubb, he was the original guy we hired, and then he up and left in the middle of a pretty awkward time for us and probably put Kalen Deboer behind the ball a little bit. Didn't help it being his first year in a very rabid area down here when it comes to college football. You know all about that.
Yeah.
But Sam Shepard says, yes, I do, referring to he thinks that Grubb would be a great bring back. Coach Saban wanted Grubb before he retired, and that is true. That is a good point, Sam Shepard. I forgot all about that. Nick Saban tried to hire Ryan Grubb as his offensive coordinator before he retired. The next following year, I think we hired that guy from Notre Dame. Can't remember his name now, but y'all probably can remember his name. But anyway, he did want Ryan Grubb. So there's something there about Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb's been with Kalen Deboer since Sioux Falls. So, I mean, it was probably a pretty big blow for Kalen Deboer, and we just didn't realize it. What do you think about all that?
I agree with you. I'm giving Kalen Deboer a pass. You know, maybe it's not the same situation we went through, but you lost the GOAT, Saban. He's gone. You got to replace him. How many transfers did you? Your star wide receiver went to Texas. I mean, you kind of had to fit some more pieces in there, and also, I've never thought Jalen Milroe was a very good quarterback, even though at the first of the season I kind of started changing my mind, and then mid-season I was like, no, he's bad. So I don't think Jalen Milroe is the answer, and I don't know if your 5-star sitting in the wings is either. I think Kalen Deboer is a good coach. The reason why they hired him was I think he was 7-2 versus top 25 teams or top 10 teams. I'm sorry, and nobody else had even close to that record. So what he did with Michael Penix Jr. at Washington and all that stuff, I think it was a good hire, and this is his first season. Like, let's stop with the knee-jerk reaction, Bama fans. And I get where you're coming from because you guys are so used to winning. It's hard to go backwards. Like you were saying, if you have a few, 6-6 seasons and it's not so good, and then you get that 9-4 season, then you're going to be happy. But you guys are used to winning 10 games every season, so it's going to be hard for you guys to go backwards. I get that. But Ryan Grubb, I don't know anything about him. I have no comment on that.
Zach Roll Tide Whitfield wants to know, are you Bama fans or are you fans? Well, we're both. And as Stason Stiegel told him, now he comes down here and asks us, both, how? Well, here's how. I'm an Alabama fan. See that Alabama belt over there? And he's an Oklahoma fan. That's how it works. The two Crimson Nations, baby. That's what it's all about with me. They're my two favorite teams. So if I have some issues or I need to talk about some Oklahoma football, I'll bring in an Oklahoma guy.
I'll be honest, when Alabama first hired Saban, I did not like Alabama, but I slowly gained respect for him. I mean, my gosh, 6 national championships. How can you not respect the guy? He obviously did something right more than anybody else in the history of college football.
Also got a Buddha Bear Bryant right here. Good look every once in a while there, Zach. And I appreciate it, brother. I'm glad you're going. This is a clip I wanted to play the other night and never got around to it. You see that?
I have not seen this. I mean,
can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
ESPN had a real opportunity. They could have shown that national anthem. They could have shown that United States flag. They could have shown Notre Dame running in Marcus Freeman right alongside the front of that team with a big old American flag. They could have shown that moment of silence, and they could have shown the Superdome coming together and chanting USA, USA, USA in the best possible response to an early morning terror attack on Bourbon Street. They didn't show any of it. They blamed timing. They said they lost track of time. They're lying to you. I know how TV works. They control the clock. They are in charge of it. Some of the DEI bureaucrats at ESPN chose not to show you this because they don't love America like you and I love America and like most of the country does. They're using sports to divide us instead of bring us together. That's the reality.
Man, I didn't know all that, but I'll tell you what.
That shit pisses me off, man.
I love Marcus Freeman. If you haven't seen some of his interviews,
Marcus Freeman is the man.
I love that guy. He's amazing. They keep trying to talk to him about, the whole first black thing, being in a national championship, and he just kind of is like, well, it's an honor, but it's about the team, it's about the university, the faculty, the staff. We're all in this together. And it has nothing to do with just me and my background. And I'm like, wow, what an articulate. He didn't say it verbatim like that, but it was a great answer. And it's almost like the nicest way of shutting the media down.
Well, it's like Clay Travis said at the end. They're using sports to be divisive. They're trying to divide.
They've been doing it.
They make money by keeping races at each other's throats, man. It's a moneymaker for them. I'm convinced of that. I don't have the numbers in front of me to prove that, but that's just a gut feeling for me.
Me growing up, ESPN was my favorite channel. It was on 24/7. There was my TV didn't get switched to another channel, and then I don't watch it at all now. I mean, I it's not even a thing. I don't even think about ESPN anymore. If I do, it's what we're talking about right now. It's just a joke.